to Warthunder. Now, I do apologize. I did say I'd be streaming FNAF 4 today. However, I have a fabulous reason as to why I am not streaming FNAF 4 today. That is because I'm absolutely fucking exhausted after the event I just did. For those of you who do not know, I went to my first Pokemon tournament. Absolutely loved it. I came last. I mean, hey. You know. Whatevers, you know. But, you know, I at least gave it my best shot. I did unfortunately come last, and that is a bit sad. But, if I hadn't gone, I wouldn't have been told that my deck... Well, I wouldn't have figured out that my deck needed a lot of work, and thankfully, I do have a community, together for that. With, the amazing club. I do apologize for my stutter. That I attend to on a regular basis, and without them amazing people, I wouldn't be able to do any of the things I love, and you know, they're just awesome people. So today I thought I would play some Warthunder because it's quite nice, it's quite chill, it's quite easy basically, it's just easy for me to do. And you know, hey, I don't have to do much, because all I have to do is fly a plane and try not to crash it, or drive a tank and try not to crash it. Anyway, so to talk a bit about today, I did get some new Pokemon cards from my local store, which was at a mall. I got a couple of the Pokeball, you know, the ones that got random selection of booster packs. And I pulled a Necrozma GX, which I absolutely love. It's beautiful. I pulled a few other cards as well, and got really nice coins, and then I went to my club and got some pretty decent stuff. And again, with the amazing people that I do have there, I was able to get some more trainer cards. I do need more, though, as my fire deck doesn't work. Now, the other thing I got today is Transformers War for Cybertron Siege Generation Selects Hasbro Pulse exclusive. Yeah, it's quite a mouthful, isn't it? Hotshot. And the main reason is because I grew up with Hotshot. Hotshot for me is the toy that I remember a lot of my friends had. For those of you who do not know who the hell Hotshot is, Hotshot was the Autobot from Transformers Armada, the Unicron trilogy. He was the Hot Rod for Transformers Unicron trilogy. He was an Armada, Energon, and of course Cybertron. And during the event, the last one, Cybertron, he got badly damaged in a fight with Megatron, and got upgraded to... Oh, shit. Just activated all of my smoke grenades. Did not need to. Vive la France. Yep, and that was... And he, for me, was my first... character I loved quite a bit. Anyway, so we got upgraded into a big 4x4 tank with, armored car with cannons, and they did a Hasbro Pulse exclusive version of Hotshot with a remold of the I don't want to be anywhere near it. I'm going to stay behind this rock. So the vehicle we are driving today at the moment is the French AMX 30 MBT, or main battle tank. It was a very good tank for the French military. I'm going to stay here because I do know enemies do like to come around this gap here, and I can often snipe them. I'm not there anyway, so we'll keep an eye out. That dude just got killed. It's Tanky Tank. Yep, it's a French tank. I do like my French tanks. They've got some... The French have surprisingly good tanks. Which is something, you know, you normally don't say. But the French do. I love that. Yeah, I'm not going forward. I do apologize, by the way, if it is a bit loud. Oui, oui, bonjour. Oui, oui. Okay, so there's an enemy up over that way. Back out a bit, see if I can hit him. Oh, I saw him. Fire, he's retreated back over here. It's about there. Critted him. There goes Commander. That will have taken out his top machine gun, so that's good. I tired well. Same. I'm exhausted as well, and at the moment I was like, oh, I don't feel like playing Five Nights at Freddy's 4 tonight. So I'm just going to stream Warthunder because it's easy. Took out the AMX 40. Yeah, I was just like, oh, I can't be bothered streaming FNAF. I'll stream, that's all good, yeah. So I'll stream Warthunder. Get ourselves up to this next rock up here. And we got away with it. Had a blast sniper. I did as well. I had a lot of fun. I had immense fun. We got his track. He didn't need that. Hey, what's an M3 Stuart doing here? And for my first tournament, you know, oh, it's an M2 Stuart. Ooh, yeah. I'm gonna try to get up to here. I'm not unless I get taken out by a Russian. But yeah, it has definitely told me that my deck is not perfect, which is probably good. Because, you always want to improve your deck and whatnot, so I definitely do need to work on it. Bonjour, monsieur. Monsieur. Oh, there is an enemy here. Oh, that hit him. That was annoying. Monsieur. Oh, wow. Nice shot. He got me good. Yeah, he just went straight through my turret. It's BMP too. Oof. Oof, BMP. Gotta keep my enemies close and sacrifice them. Yeah. Love that comment. So we have a camping. We have a spawn camper that is not good. What's he done here? I have stopped them from getting it. I know there's a BMP up on the ridge. Can I actually artillery the guy that's close to our base? No, I cannot. Oh, actually, oh, yeah, I can. M48. Yeah, sacrifice the mile also. Is that the Russian M4A2? I am hitting him. Which means he's down there. He's down on the gap, which I may have to deal with. But I'm going to stay behind this rock first of all. So now up on that ridge up there, there's a BMP. I'm kind of trying to see if I can hit him. Yeah. No, it is not. So I'm going to talk a bit about my Pokemon duel tonight, for folks who are interested. So I attended my first Pokemon duel. It was hosted by the Pokemon Club I attend. And one of the things that happened in it was baby themed. And what that basically meant was no overpowered cards or whatnot. I heard smoke grenades deploy. The Hellcat has taken out. I'm going to get back behind this rock because I don't want to be destroyed. Is that a mouse? Just basics to stage 2 pretty much. Yeah, basically was that. Yeah, it was a mouse. It was basically basics. Oh, and brakes were loud. Yeah, brakes, basics, and your bog standards essentially, and it was actually really a lot of fun. Definitely does keep you busy as all heck. And it does keep you on your toes as well. Oh, it was a lot of fun. And for my first ever... I think I did pretty well for my first ever tournament. Given the fact that probably everybody else did a lot better than I did. It's a hell of a lot of fun. I know that a lot of people don't like my mag mortar deck, namely because it is pretty much broken. For those of you who want to know what my deck is about, I run a mag mortar deck. And what that means is it's basically a mag mortar, for those of you who do not know, is the evolution of magma. From Generation 1. Oh. I'm gonna try to snipe you. Oh, the Tiger 2 got me. Where the hell was he? Oh, he was on the other side of the map. He was like, no fun allowed. I'm like, aw. Get him. And one of the effects it has is called Burning Ground. Now, Burning Ground means that both players discard the top card of their hand. And if it's an energy, oh my goodness me, I've unlocked some decals. What did we unlock? First of all, we unlocked the Royal Air Force Round All Type B. You had a pretty good deck, my guy. Yeah! I got told I had a pretty good deck. By a lot of people. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought my deck was, it was alright. I've got to fix it. I've got to add more to it. I definitely need to get a lot more trainer cards. What I've currently got. That was the Japanese one. I haven't done that in a while. But yeah, Burning Ground basically requires you to have 3 energies. So it can be, it is 2 fire types and then 1 random energy. And then, once you do, it does 80 base damage. But if you and your opponent discard a card in the top card of your deck, and it is an energy card, that does 100 damage. So if both you and your opponent, oh great, this map, say, oh yeah, I'm going to discard the top card of my deck, then it's an energy, that's 280 damage. And sometimes it works better in your favor because you can get rid of a card that they need and they can't use. The second card that people have got to be aware of my deck is I've got 2 chandeliers, or chandeliers. So think about these chandeliers though, is they have a very nice ability. The ability is, any Pokemon with an energy card on it no longer has a weakness. So if I have both chandeliers out on my bench, and they both have and all my Pokemon have an energy to them, well, none of my Pokemon have water weakness anymore. And if I'm fighting up against a water deck, oh well, that was nice to know that I don't have to suffer from you again. The next Pokemon that people have to be careful of, we're definitely, I think, on a full axis team, that people have to be careful of, is my Heatran that I got. Now, Heatran has a very lovely ability. Trophy. And Heatran has, its first attack does 30, but it also means that you're on fire. You're burning. You took on the parent deck. Yeah, I did. For those of you who don't know, Psycho Bunny ran a mystery deck she'd been teasing in the group for a while, called the I called it the parental deck. And what that basically meant is, oh hey, it gets maybe into the match. There we are. Thank you very much, sirs. Check out the long gun. One of the things it has in it is a Kangaskhan. Now, Kangaskhan is the parental Pokemon. Absolutely hate its attack is you flip a coin. For every head you get, it does 40 damage. You're probably thinking, well, that's not much. You don't understand. That's for every head. If you flip a tails, you have however many flips worth of 40 damage. So if they do 3 and your Pokemon has an HP of 120, that's a one-hit KO. If your opponent has slightly more or has cards that give it more, then it's going to take a lot more. And myself and Psycho Bunny, we were dueling in this tournament, and our dueling was legendary. It was the most heart-pounding thing. And she won because of luck and the fact that I fucked up majorly. I had one card in my hand that would have given me a better chance. The problem is I didn't realize it until... Oh my lord. Until after I had already attacked. And it didn't matter what happened next. No. No. No! You bully! Beating up a poor defenseless Japanese tank. Yeah, we'll take out the cheeky. Yeah, I had my Chandelure out, I knocked out her Kangaskhan, and then she was just like, you know what? Gyrable? And I'm like, oh, dang it. And that was how the match ended. Was because I was a bloody numpty. But it was definitely a lot of fun. It's hella fun. Nice. 228. Not a bad tank. It's more of a you don't want to be seen when it hit. They're taking C from us, are they? Who's on C? But it was the best ever. Agreed. Agreed. And I definitely had a lot of fun. For my first ever duel, I had a lot of fun. And I definitely am looking forward to Monday. Because it's gonna be heck. I am so gutted that Legendary Battle was not recorded. Oh, that would have been awesome to put on on either channel. The Legendary Battle. Ow, sir. I'm gonna hide behind this house because I need to. Ow! Shoot me in the back. Over there. There. But yeah, no, I definitely, oh. Duncan versus Psycho Bunny fight. We'll definitely have to record one of our fights for YouTube. See if it's just as legendary. Oh, there you are. Nope. Hiding behind a house. I'm gonna drop artillery on him. We are probably gonna lose this match, unfortunately. It's just mainly down to, unfortunately, we may not win. Which would be sad. Oh well, I'm not really gearing. Oh, that's a 40mm, both as anti-aircraft shot. I usually stream the tournaments, but the room was too booked, so no streaming this time. Oh, I see. So normally you do stream the tournament fights, but because of how things played out, it was a no-go. Oh, I see. Bit of a shame that the room was booked out. Oh well. No harm. No harm at all. Oh my lord! My guy. You do not get to dictate the play of the battle. It was on C, but I see it. Golem. Upstairs can be used for streaming, also for streams. Awesome. Not doing too badly today in the Chihi. So unfortunately not much I can tell you about the Chihi. It was a Japanese medium tank. But I do want to talk a bit about Japanese tanks in general. That's a biplane. The Japanese, when they were building their planes, well not planes, their tanks. I've mentioned before that they didn't really have the luxury of building very heavy tanks to fight. So a lot of their tanks were very lightly armored and gunned and whatnot. Hope to see you at more and the others too. I've definitely got to try to get Brendan a bit out of his shell. Oh, I got krilled. Although I did get an ace on that tank, so that's good. No repeat pickles to though. Yeah, like, the thing is I've got to try to get Brendan a bit more out of his shell. The thing with Brendan, Nightcap Gaming or whatever gaming, I don't remember, is he's a bit antisocial and he does suffer quite badly from anxiety, social anxiety. I don't do too badly. So, you know, for Brendan, doing things is basically just showing up is all he really does. And if he shows up, he's really happy and he's content with himself. And that's fine with me. Because, you know, that's Brendan for you. No hate, no complaints from me. But I know, because in the past, both him and I have been bullied at events, quite badly, which is a bit of a bugger, actually. Actually, not a bit of a bugger, it was a bugger. Oh, hey, they added in the Japanese helicopter tree. Didn't realize that. Which was a pain in the ass. And, yeah, myself, so I'm quite glad that he's actually showing up to these events, more. Because, you know, it gets him out of the house, gets him busy doing things, and, you know, hey, that'll be, well, it's Brendan for you. It'll be cool, he would continue, you know, he just shows up and bam, he's there. As for Blaze, unfortunately the thing with Blaze is he's working, Anthony, old Anthony fella. And that's a bit of a bugger to what he works around. Because he works, basically, I'll let him and you guys on Monday. Oh, thanks. I enjoy being there. I'm very glad that, you know, myself and Anthony went that first Monday that all those years ago, all those weeks, well, a couple of them, when was it? Back up in June, July? Somewhere around there, June, July-ish. Back when Slazer was still there. And then, of course, the current events, what happened to Slazer, and then he got removed. But yeah, with Blaze One, you gotta work around his, when he's working. And the only days he gets off is Monday and Sunday. So he can show up on a Monday, but it's perfectly fine. But on a Sunday and on a Sunday, so long as it's not the first Sunday of the month, because then he's with his mum. Yeah. Apex back when... Yeah, I saw those ones. The first day we came. I remember it too, because I remember my first day there. I won my first duel. That was awesome.
You're a giant banana.
Thank you, Blazeon. Don't want the rest of your pork.
Okay.
Don't you want the rest of your pork? We occasionally have tournaments on Sunday. Yeah. Yeah, because the next tournament that's coming up is on the 22nd, which is a Sunday.
Oh, which one can do?
Yeah. Not having the thing on a Sunday?
Unfortunately not.
Bit of a bugger. Oh well. I mean,
she's tired and anyway, so
well, I mean, Sunday is historically the day for rest.
So we normally try and get one out of the month.
I do.
We're
I know.
doing next pay week.
Next pay week, so not this coming week, but the week after.
Yeah.
Pork! Yeah, we, myself and Blaze got roast pork for tea. When we came home. Yeah, so was mine. But yeah, so which means Sunday we'll be able to hang out.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Yeah, I did see the new Transformers. They have one. It's Voyager class Megatron. That's it. Jealous.
I was actually looking more forward to hanging out with my mum, going to the Northlands, and just laughed.
Well, we can still go to Northlands. We just have to ask my mum if she'd be nice enough to take us. Again, you'd have to ask.
Yeah, I know. Here again, there's that kind of...
Yeah, no, Mum doesn't really... Yeah. My mother was a... Oh, hello there. Aw. I just shot... I love the animal shop up in the Northlands. Anime shop! Pop finals! Anime. I love anime. I'm not going to talk about anime for the stream.
I'm gone. No, I'm gone. Yeah, I've got my YouTube.
Enjoy your YouTube. I love anime. I absolutely love it. Oh lord. First anime I ever watched on TV was Cardcaptor Sakura, Zoids, and then was followed by Zoids, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Pokemon. And I I see you. Have you been to the anime shop up in the Northlands? Is it the Pop Stop? Because I know there's a couple up that way, but no, I don't think I have. Just angle. Use my ass. No, I don't think I have been up to the anime shop in the Northlands Mall area. If you can give me a name of it, I will definitely check it out on Sunday. I'm an anime fan. I'm the weeaboo of me and my friends. Ow. You took out my gunner, you bastard. Well, guess what? You won't get to take out the rest of my crew. Because building. Oh, that's a KV-1! Actually, hang on a minute. I'm British Heavy! Charge! I'm too British for you! No! Churchill wins! Aw. Dank throne. You have made an enemy of the British Empire! Do I take out the Bowfighter? I could take out the Bowfighter. Nah, I'm gonna take out the the Churchill again. But the only shop I know up at the Northlands area that I think remotely sells any anime things is the Pop Stop. I definitely like anime. I think it's called the Anime Shop. I think the entrance off the main North Road by the bus stops to the right where ANZ used to be. That's the Pop Stop, I do believe it's called. Is the building red? If the building is red, I think I know what you're talking about. Hey! There's a mean bunny in this game. Psycho Bunny, when did you get in this game? At the Northlands Mall. Yeah, is it red? Is that building red? Oh, the Northlands. I feel like I'll talk a bit about the Churchill for a bit. Bam. The Churchill infantry tank, later Churchill heavy tank, was built after 1941. It was designed by Croc Studio, Aerox Studio, as a way for the British infantry to have a support tank. It was well heavily armoured, had a meh gun. Been there once, the main entrance near the old food court. I will keep an eye out on Sunday for it, but thank you for letting me know about it. I'm definitely going to be looking forward for it, but thank you for that. So it's in the Northlands Mall where the old food court used to be. Awesome sauce. So we're going to talk a bit about the Churchill Mark III here. Well, the Churchill line and stuff up from EB Games. Awesome, thank you. I didn't even know it existed. I love anime, that's like fine. So the Churchill Mark I, when it first came out, and the Mark II, had a 2-pounder gun and a 3-inch hull-mounted howitzer. Now the problem was at the time is that it wasn't very good. Neither of these guns were very good. You'll die of love. Yeah. And then, knowing my luck, is I'll be reincarnated into another anime world. Ikazai. I love them. Was that the Mark III, which is the tank I'm currently driving, was equipped with a 6-pounder or 57mm gun, which finally gave the Churchill a decent gun for it. Not only that, but the Churchill tank received a lot of armor upgrades as well. They have swords. They have swords? Yeah! That's awesome. That is actually awesome. That is awesome. I'd go there now, but the Northlands Mall is shut. Oh well, I'll wait till Sunday. The great anime waiting. Anyway, more on the Churchill tank. The name Churchill is supposedly rumoured to come from the British Prime Minister at the time, the not very well liked Winston Churchill. Now, I say not very well liked is that he was a very difficult man. Even the British colonies had no love for him, especially India. Some of the comments Churchill would make about the Indians are not worth repeating. This is also the same man who got a whole bunch of New Zealanders and Australians killed in Gallipoli in the First World War. The Mark III Churchill here started a trend, it's basically the trend on how British heavy tanks would go on for the next upgrades. Increase the armor, increase the gun, and give them the ability to fight. As a result, British Churchills became very heavily armoured and very slow. But, if they hit you with their gun, if they got used effectively, they would be able to do quite a bit of damage, as German guns at the time could not hit them. That's a Mark 7 there, I'm a Mark 3. The Churchill after the war continued to see service up until it was replaced by the British Centurion Mark tank. But even then, it was still used in other countries around the world, including former British colonies, because it was the best tank that they had. Bunny learns Duncannuva 101. I do love teaching. As a result, because of the British imperialism in World War II, a lot of tanks used to... Now, by the way, these are both Royal New Zealand Air Force roundels. This is the Pacific Theatre, this blue one here. This is the Royal New Zealand Air Force roundel in the Pacific. The red with the Kiwi in it is the Royal New Zealand Air Force during the Battle of Europe. The reason that it's two is because... Oh, look, that looks like a Japanese marking. I'm going to shoot an ally down. Yep. I think we'll finish off with the M4 Sherman here. We're playing the Hurricane. Anyway, so the Churchill got various upgrades. Now, the last modification of the Churchill actually never got put into full production. It is called the A43 Black Prince. And it had a 20-pounder gun. And it was essentially I'm going to put the stream in my History 101 playlist. Awesome. But the Churchill was eventually favoured out because Britain was going to upgrade the tanks to something else, and they did. They eventually upgraded it to a tank called the Carnarvon, which never got put into full production, and then to another tank called the Conqueror. Again, never got put into full production. This is because Britain had a decent tank. They had two decent tanks at the time. The Centurion, which was the best tank that Britain had produced, and the Chieftain, another damn good tank Britain had produced. These two MBTs could do everything that the light, medium, and heavy tanks could do, thus basically making it that these roles were no longer needed. Which was quite a shame, because a lot of the tanks Britain produced actually performed better. Now, this tank I am driving is the M4 Sherman. This is the main workhorse of the American Army, and this tank appeared in 1942. However, the problem with the early constructions of the Sherman is they weren't very great. America, when they first entered World War II, didn't exactly have the best military system at all. In fact, the American military were like, we don't want to go into war when World War II started, because it's not our problem, we're so far away, and yada yada yada. When Japan attacked Pearl Harbor on the 7th of December 1941, America was forced into a war that it was not prepared for at all. The early American planes, tanks, and ships were useless. The only things America had that were decent were the F4F Wildcats, the SPD Dauntlesses, the TBF Avengers, their carriers, and the M3 Lee, a very interesting tank, which they quickly put out into production along with the P-40, another fighter. The M4 Sherman appeared in 1942 when the M3 Lee, which was built for a war, was no longer capable of fighting that war. As a result, it basically would be the standard doctrine of the US military. Make a decently expendable hull that can be upgraded. Something the Russians learnt from 1941 onwards with the KV-1, as seen by that, and the T-34, later the IS. The Sherman was used for multiple different vehicles. This is the 75mm version, the cannon. Many other nations had built their own. The British upgraded this thing with a 17-pounder gun, the same gun used on the Mark 7s and Churchill, the tank I was playing before. The problem with the British, however, the British quickly found out that the American Sherman turret could not hold it. So as a result, they had to rotate the gun in the hull and the turret of the Sherman sideways. Which basically meant that they could no longer put a radio operator in. So what they did is they put it into a little hole out the back. The Sherman Firefly was arguably even better than the Sherman 76, the most heavily upgraded version. And now the Sherman 76 had the name, its full designation was M4A3 76. No, I'm not going to penetrate from this distance. That shot came from behind. Yeah, that one was behind me. Wow. I even rotated, he got a good shot in. Nice. The later versions of the Shermans improved upon the first. Now, this tank I'm driving right now, I'm flying apparently, is the M24 Chaffee. Very good light tank. I love it. I don't know too much about the Chaffee, unfortunately. But the M4 Sherman served in all theatres of the war. The African front, it served in the British and American forces, as well as the Australian, New Zealand and Indian forces. The Western front under the French, American, British forces, which included Canada, New Zealand, Australia. The Italian campaign, New Zealand, Australia and America, and Britain. The Pacific Theatre, which is Britain, France, America, New Zealand, Australia. Oh, and the Eastern Front. Some of the M4s made their way over to Russia. The unfortunate thing with the M4 Shermans is they had a very narrow tread, meaning they'd sink in the mud, and the Russians weren't too happy with that. Now, the Russians have their own tank, the T-34, which was, for them, it is the tank we need to use, but we will still use the M4 Sherman, because it is a good thing. The 76 barreled millimeter Sherman and the 85 millimeter barreled T-34s were more than able to kill the Germans. Speaking of Germany, the Germans operated captured ones. They were called Panzerkampfwagen 4's Shamans. Because the Germans is PZ, number, and then the tank. For a better example, the Panzer 4 is Panzer 4 Ausführung, and then the letter Hutch, or Ja for the J, or G for the G. It depended on the model and it depended on the tank at the time. But they also had some other names for them that I cannot pronounce. We are near an enemy tank, because he just fired. Oh. Credit him. That's a Panzer 3M right there. Panzer 4F2? Nutty. He was at the bush, he was like, yes, I will kill you. We'll take out the M16, which is a machine gun carrier. The M4 Sherman even still sees service today. Well, right now, yeah, I know, hey. It's rather interesting. The M4 Sherman is 75 years old. Well over 70 years old. And it is still in use in some South American countries. They have equipped it with 90mm cannons. But the French still use them, equipping them with an oscillating turret, which is a very interesting turret, or with a 50 or a 90mm auto-loaded cannon. He used to go to kill things like that. The M4 Sherman was so adaptable, multiple different variants of it existed, including one which had a giant flail on the front of it for minesweeping, called the Sherman Crab. It was used during Normandy. It still had the 75mm cannon attached to it, in case they needed it to be for, to go into fight. into war. Oh, somebody killed the plane. The Sherman, whilst was very adaptable, however, did have its faults. Its transmission, it wasn't too great as well. And from the side, you could see it coming. And whilst it was good for the time, nowadays it's been replaced by, well, the M1 Abrams, the T-80, the T-90, and many other other planes, well, vehicles and such. Keep an eye out. Its standard armament equip out in the game that you saw me play before was a 75mm short-barreled gun, 2 Browning 50 cals, one located next to the main character. Contemplating if I adopt another brother. Where is any planes? I did hear it. There's an ME-410. There's a... I'm going to head towards the A point because that's where I'm needed most. But adaptability is probably the best thing you can learn about tanks like the Churchill, tanks like the Centurion, the Sherman, and even the T-34. The Germans had their own tank that they could adapt quite well. The tank that killed me, the Panzer IV Ausführung, the Panzerkampfwagen 4, as that version of the tank was produced in the thousands. It was used all over. In Africa, in the Pacific, well, not in the Pacific, in Africa, in the Italian campaign, in Normandy. Oh damn, that's bombs. I'm dead. Oh, I killed the BF-109E, but I got killed by the BF-109E. I will take out the SP2C. And the next aircraft I'm going to be talking about is the aircraft that killed, well, I'm talking about the Panzer IV. The Panzer IV, that's the, which literally, if you want to translate Panzer to English, is tank. So, yeah, congratulations, yeah. It's Tank 4. It's the 4th generation of tank. And I'm going to talk a bit about this. This is a bit of a sad thing. Germany after World War I got put under the Versailles Treaty. This treaty basically told Germany, you are not allowed to have an armed forces at all. No tanks, you have to keep it under 1,000 men, no big warships, no nothing. Tank plane. No, I'm not flying a tank plane. Although one did exist. The Russians built it. It was called the Antonov A-60. It was a very large and very heavy glider. Problem was... Aww. Hello, I love FNAF. This is his voice. Ah, trees, man. Oh, but I wanted to have an armed vehicles. Yeah, well, there's unfortunately one problem with the, Ooh, that was, weird. Ooh, that was weird indeed. Sorry about that noise. That was, weird. Yeah, the problem the Russians found out with it, though, is... I'll show you the tank they used for it. In fact, because it is in the game, they used... That is a helicopter. I will show you the Russian flying tank in a moment. Oh, wow. Oh, we won that one. Nice. We'll unlock this one. We'll get this one. Go back to finish on that. Yeah, we'll picture source. Now, I'll show you the Russian flying tank. We'll go to the latest one. The Russian Mi-28 is not the helicopter I thought it was. The Russian Mi-35M. You can speak more German than I can. I have a brother who's spoken a lot, so I listen into it. So, you know, I can understand phrases in German. But this helicopter here is essentially the Russian flying tank. It has heavy armament. It has a 23mm turret. located in the front there. It has rockets, it can carry troops, and it can shrug off RPGs. But the tank that the Russians were using for their Antonov project, not what I wanted, is this tank here. It's called the T-60. The Russians in World War II decided that they wanted to build a tank that was able to be used quite effectively. As a result, they looked at a tank that was obsolete by the beginning of it, and it's this tank here. So they attached wings and a tail boom to it and pulled it up into the air and tried to fly it. The problem was, it wasn't good. It crashed. But Russia wasn't the only one that toyed with the idea of having tanks large enough to be seated behind the line. The British did, as well as did the Americans. I'll show you the American one in a moment, but I'll show you the British one now. The British developed the Tetrarch tank here, which was equipped with a 40-pounder, 2-pounder, 40mm 2-pounder. Is the brother, the mystery brother that I've not met. Brother. Yeah, he was the brother who came to pick me up tonight. He was the one who came and picked me up tonight, and he's the one that you haven't met yet. Because he doesn't live at home, and if he did, I'd probably invite him along to the nights, because he was a bit of a fan of Pokemon as well. But this tank here, the Tetrarch, was the British attempt of it, and essentially it'd be carried behind in a glider to be used, and the Americans could produce a lot of equipment, including the C-47 Douglas, and their tank for it was this thing, the M22 Locust. The problem with these light armored airborne infantry tanks, as they were called, was they were shit. They weren't good, they were just no. And that was the big problem with them. Is whilst they could do good, it's unfortunately the fact that they weren't good. So I will show you now the German workhorse. It is the Panzerkampfwagen Ausführung 4A through to yay. Because you have the Panzerkampfwagen Panzer IV C, Panzer IV E, Panzer IV F1, Panzer IV F2, a no-no tank. Yeah, a no-no tank. The Panzer IV G, the Panzer IV H, the Panzer IV F, the Panzerkampfwagen Kugelblitz, Kugelwagen Wirbelwind, Panzerkampfwagen Kugelwagen Ostwind, Ostwind 2, Kugelblitz, and the Stug 4, as was the Jagdpanzer 4 und die Jagdpanzer 4 aus 70W and A. Und the Panzerkampfwagen Waffentraktor Brumba up the top there, which I think just means bear, as well as this command version of it here, which I'm not saying because it's got a completely different name, because the BEF just means command vehicle. The way you can tell it's command vehicle is one of its antennas. I think it's this big meaty antenna on the back here is a command radio for the commander of the tank. Bananas. But yeah, that was essentially the German workhorse. Oh my gosh, what a mouthful. Yeah, that's the Germans for you. In the English and the Russians, it is, America, you've got we've got the M4 Sherman, M3 Lee. Russia, we have T-34 and KV-1. Britain, well, we have the Churchill, the Comet, and the Crusader. Japan, we have the Type 97 Shira. Italy, we have the PA-40. France, we have the AMX-30. Germany, we have the Panzerkampfwagen Aus-4 Ausführung J. Ausführung J. You do have to say it kind of shouting because... But interestingly enough, there are actually several tanks in the German tech tree that aren't German. And it is these tanks here, and these tanks here, as well as this tank here. Lamafel, yeah. So first of all, I'm going to show you probably one of my favorite tanks. This tank is the Panzerkampfwagen Panzer 35T. It's not German. The reason I say it is not German is this is a Czechoslovakian tank. The Czech Republic at the time, in modern day. In World War II, Czech Republic and the Slovakia were merged together to form Czechoslovakia. This was a tank they called, which was just called Light Tank 35 because of the cannon. And the 37, well, there's a 37mm in the game, but historically it would have had a 35mm, as well as 2 machine guns. It was a Czechoslovakian light tank, and it was a decent light tank at the time. But the Germans have the Panzer 35, the Panzer 38, I actually know 35 is the weight of it, 2 different versions. The little T tells you it's a Czechoslovakian tank. The Flak Panzer 38, which is a Panzer 38 with its hull replaced with a rapid-fire 20mm anti-aircraft gun. The Panzer 38 Marder, which was a project to basically take what an already existing hull, use it for something else, and the Jagdpanzer 38. Now, the Jagdpanzer 38 is often called the Hitzer. It was even called the Hitzer in World War II. It was developed late into the war because, well, Germany was running out of tanks, and they still had the Czechoslovakian factories at the time. And so the Czechoslovakian factories produced that. But yeah, the Churchill I was driving earlier, by the way, here it is under Germany's control. It is called the Panzerkampfwagen Churchill. That's how the Germany operated. The T-34 here was called the Panzerkampfwagen T-34. 747 for Russia, 747 was the unit that operated them. And these tanks basically made the bulk up of the German army. Believe it or not, the German army didn't have a lot of their own tanks. He said, welcome, place on. The Panzer IV, the Panzer III, they were only in a few thousand, but the Germans made use of Italian, French, American, Russian, British tanks. Why? Because it's what they needed to get their hands on. They couldn't get their hands on anything else because they didn't have anything else. Also, I do have a funny story. I see you. Yeah, I see you too, Blaze. This tank here is the Italian P40 Leoncello, or the P40 here. It is an Italian medium tank. Well, the P in Italian is for the Italian word for heavy. This tank, I think if I have a look in customization, it should tell me how heavy it weighs, is 26 tons. When this tank first rolled off the production line, it was the best tank Italy had made. This tank even impressed the Germans. The Germans operated them as the Panzerkampfwagen P40. And they were a damn good tank. They fought against each other. They're the only so in actual combat. The British, when they got their tanks, took them over home. And Japan, well, the Japanese tanks were either taken to America or were used by China. And that's a very big kettle of fish I don't want to open up. But the P40 was used by the Germans, as were many of the French tanks. Which we'll go to once it's there. Which includes this big duck. Hello, Cryptic. How you doing? This is the Shah B1, which just means tank B1. It is like the Churchill. Small, pathetic gun up here, although it's 47mm, and a very large howitzer there. This tank was the workhorse of the French military and the German military. The Germans operated them as the Panzerkampfwagen Shah B1, or the Panzerkampfwagen B1. I have time to squeeze in one more game. What will I fly? Feeling in the mood to fly. And I think if I wanted to squeeze off German adaptability, I think the perfect aircraft I have to fly is the BF-109. I think we'll fly the E1. What type of plane? Very fucking brilliant of you, Blaze. Holy shit, you won an award. Turn right, not that far. Very funny, Cryptic. Very funny. Congratulations. Yep. So the BF-109 is... Its original name is very, very complicated, and saying BF is a far easier way of saying it. Oh, cool, we're in the Far East. It was made by Willy Messerschmitt in the 1930s and saw action on the first day of the Spanish Civil War. It was equipped with 7.7mm machine guns. Later, this was upgraded to 15mm machine guns and 20mm cannons. This plane was the workhorse, and still was the workhorse of Germany, Vichy France, Italy, Switzerland, Austria, Hungary, Czechoslovakia, Poland, Romania, even Japan operated this plane. Its power plant is a Daimler-Benz BMW engine, or a BMW engine. And it was the best plane the Germans ever produced. It could equip bombs, it could equip rockets later on in the war, only 2, and it had a decent firepower. The F-1 that you see flying is a much better armament upgrade of this. It also made the Spitfire look obsolete. And the Spitfire, well, it was the new kid on the block. We'll go into the cockpit because the F4U over there was friggin' loud. This was the German cockpit at the time. Now I want to climb up to about 10,000 feet or so because that's where I will excel. There we've got the Hunker 111, KI-43. Now, the KI-43 was a damn good thing. That's a Nakajima KI-43 Ein, or Ichi. Good morning, Vietnam! Do you feel the freedom? Wrong nation, wrong map. I'm in the Far East, so I'm the German army with the Japanese army attacking the Russians, Chinese, British, American, and French, apparently. We have Garfield. I've got Star Saber on my team. New Gamatai. Selexi, and of course many others. What have we got up there? MiG-3, good high altitude fighter. He is turning towards me. CW-21, I want to go for him. That is a Chinese plane. I don't know if it's a nationalist or communist. He's going for the... Oh, that's an... Ooh. Another CI-21 and another MiG. Alright, diving. Well, that failed miserably, didn't it? CI... Oh, took out the BF... Oh, the... Make a stormtrooper. Yeah, ask your question. Oh, damn. Oh, I read it out. Play flaps. I'm more than happy to answer questions if I can. Play combat flaps to turn around. He's got... Well, we'll pick up an armored car. Screw you, armored car. For a bowl of chips on Monday, oh, if you win. Oh, if I win. We'll go for the Hurricane. Oh, I am being hit. Ooh, I'm on fire. I'm dead. Oh, I am dead. Oh, he took out my engine. I'm a bit... Oh, there goes my landing gear. Barely landing. Ow. I lived. Sort of. What tank was called the... What was the tank that killed Hitler during the Sixth World War in 1742? What was the tank called that killed Hitler in the Sixth World War in 1742? Jim.
Jim?
Jim. His name was Jim.
What? Whose name was Jim?
The tank that killed Hitler in the Sixth World War in 1742. Keep up.
Oh, for God's sake. I'm having some hot and spicy chicken.
Fair enough. Enjoy it.
I'm going to.
Alright, that's gotta go back on charge. Do that now. Do that now.
Back into the freezer.
Was I correct? Was it Jim? Did I win?
Go
We'll find out after these messages. Transformers, ball that meets the eye. Oh, the damn Jim! I knew it. Yes, everybody feared Jim. The bastard killed Hitler. Now I'm going to show off some of the premium aircraft I've got. So, just have a laugh. This is a Hungarian HE-111, HE-112. Yep. German IL-2. This is the German Mosquito. German BF-1 and Yak-1.
Yes, you know what I mean. I'll wake at 3 and 4 and sit up.
This thing, I love. This is the Bloomin' Vass. You win a bottle of chips. Yay! I'm going to talk a bit about this aircraft. I'm going to go after this because I'm exhausted. This aircraft I'm going to be playing in the near future. This is called the Bloomin' Vass, which built naval aircraft. BV-238 Viking. It is the biggest plane in Warthunder. It... Oh, do I call it Jim? Yes. Yes, I do call him Jim. Because he destroys everything. For example, he has a 20mm turret and 13mm turrets. He has 20 bombs. He is magnificent. Just for size comparison. Lol. This is the American Boeing B-29. It's small. Anyway, I thank you all for tuning in and joining me. I would fly this aircraft out, but, well... It costs 44,264 silver lions to repair this aircraft. Mini Jim. Yep, I'm calling him Mini Jim now. So I thank you all so much for watching. I've been Duncan, and I'll catch you next time. Good night!